A warm welcome to our students and parents to the last edition of our podcast series on acing the SSCE exams. We have with us today Dr. Vandana Nair, Psychology faculty at Delhi Public School, Bangalore East. Welcome, ma'am. At the outset, ma'am, I would like to know from you as to what is it that the students need to keep in mind while attempting the psychology paper.
Thank you so much, sir. When all of you walk into that exam hall to appear for that paper, remember, it's not an assessment of all that you know. It's about how much you have learned and cherished as part of your classroom journey. When you're attempting that paper, be certain that you know that subject better than anyone else. Be convinced about your abilities, be specific, diligent in your responses, and substantiate with an example wherever you can.
Thank you, ma'am. While we understand that a student must answer all questions, would you be able to suggest an approach in case one is unable to structure their answers suitably?
While we've been in class, I've told you this umpteen number of times, that it's not always possible to be able to answer everything. And sometimes we've answered it multiple times, we've seen it in the pre-board papers, but when we see the paper, somehow we are not able to fathom the answer. And at that point, remember that you have a story to tell. Write your answer like you would explain it to someone who does not know your subject. Be absolutely comprehensive and give an example wherever possible. Psychology is a fairly abstract subject, and some concepts can be very difficult to explain without an example. Nobody is going to cut your marks because you gave an extra example when they didn't ask for it. We're fairly nice that way. So please go ahead and write your examples.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very thoughtful. The next question is very interesting for me personally. So the question is, the application or case-based questions in psychology tend to be rather tricky for our young learners. Please shed some light on how to approach the same.
Oh, that is perennially the elephant in the room and so difficult. We're always wondering, what do we do in a case study question? But it primarily comes from chapters in therapy and the chapters on psychological disorders. When you're sitting and preparing for your exam, when you're sitting and studying, identify those aspects in the symptoms and in the therapeutic approach that differentiate one therapeutic approach from the other. If they're telling you it is a sudden onset, it happened suddenly while she was at the mall, it is panic. If there was a particular reason, sat in the exam hall and started feeling anxious, then that's anxiety related to exams. So when there is a particular reason, then you are able to identify the differentiating factors. When it is sudden onset, it is panic. When it isn't necessarily sudden onset, then it's something else. Even with the therapeutic approaches, when they are attacking cognitive and behavioral aspects, then you speak of CBT. If it is an existential crisis in teenage, then you speak of existential anxiety and looking at those aspects. So these are things that you need to identify while you are studying the course curriculum before your exam. Be able to highlight different and specific symptoms and aspects of the disorder and therapeutic approaches.
Thank you, ma'am. That is quite insightful for our young learners. And this is my final question. So any final thoughts about taking the last board exam that you would like to share with our students?
With the last board exam, sometimes things can get very strange, for the choice of a better word. Some of you have had nearly 20 plus days to prepare for the psychology exam, and some of you have not had as many days. Be absolutely confident in yourself. When you're writing the paper, utilize your reading time effectively. Go through those questions in those 15 minutes. And if you feel that I don't think I know the answer for this question, just let it be. Do not get panicky. Do not get worried and worked up. The answer will come to you. Don't worry. Have belief in the fact that you have spent 2 years studying this course and 1 year studying just this particular syllabus. You need to know the book like the back of your hand. I've told you this umpteen number of times. Know it like nobody else, because every little line from the textbook becomes a one marker for the psychology teachers. That's just how we are, right? The other thing that you need to keep in mind is maintain your timelines. Stick to how much time you want to spend for the case-based questions, for the theoretical questions. The MCQs are going to be tricky, so please make sure you have read your textbook umpteen number of times. Go over it over and over again. It's not a vast syllabus, very few chapters, lots of fun syllabus. So please enjoy the experience of studying the subject and appearing for the exam. Good luck. God bless.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think it was very much insightful and it gives a lot of confidence for all the students. So thank you so much for sharing some key inputs with our students, ma'am, and all the very best to our students. Thank you so much.